Former Purdue commit Canon Catchings has committed to BYU, Brigham Young University. This is breaking news as of this morning, Tuesday, June 18th. Cart, you and I have been all over this. We've alluded to the possibility that this could happen as quickly as one day after Canon Catchings had announced he was decommitting Purdue. Feels like a small, maybe large victory lap is in order for us, but I also am excited to hear your thoughts on this fit in general. First off, what's your instant reaction to Canon Catchings to BYU?
My initial reaction is that the real winner of all this is the T word that we don't like to say as much, but massive, massive win for team tampering. You got to throw it out there. For the folks that don't like tampering, this is, in my opinion, a massive, massive win for them. They move, but I mean, you and I talked about it when he first decommitted for Purdue. This, I guess, marriage you could call it, this pairing just made too much sense given the connections to the coaching staff that he has with OTE's coach being on the staff, the money that BYU has available, and also the plan of personally what Canon Catchings wants to do. I think he wants to play in the NBA one day so he can go play for a coach with loads of NBA experience. And the way that BYU is operating currently, it might be a school that players look at as a one and done shop, one and done stop moving forward with players like Igor Demon in the fold, and now Kanon Catchings, who's made it very clear that he wants to be a one and done prospect and is a projected draft pick according to ESPN and things like that. So it honestly, it made too much sense that that he was going to go to BYU. Took longer than I thought, to be honest with you. Thought it'd be a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I mean, they let it sit for a week. I think that was kind of just to
It's just
like,
a cute little Tennessee possible visit, a cute little Florida State possible visit, but like
yeah.
let's not little
Well, you
fake game.
gotta sometimes you gotta let things soak overnight, Like you just gotta let it stay, we're gonna give it some time here. That's what we're gonna do. That's what Canon Catchings and BYU did. And
You want
no,
BYU
no,
let
and
something.
I look, I actually do. I know people make fun of us like we're not insiders, we're not reporters. We're truly not. We're happy to own that. We're reactionary people that try to entertain and talk about what's happening with college basketball. But like sometimes we nail things, sometimes we predict things and just do the digging on our own. Every step of the way, we said like keep an eye on BYU. We correctly assessed that these other visits weren't going to happen. Like the other visits had no seriousness here. This seems like it was a done deal from before he even formally had whatever phone call with Matt Painter that he was reported to have had. Cart, you know what just happened here though for Kevin Young? You know what he just did?
What?
Well, first of all, he signed the highest rated recruit in BYU history. That's what just happened. Second of
Uh-huh.
all, you know what Kevin Young did to Matt Painter?
Called him poor.
He walked right up into Matt Painter's home. He walked into Matt Painter's house. He didn't even take his shoes off. He left his shoes on. And there was mountain residue on the bottom of those cleats for Kevin Young. And he walked into Matt Painter's living room and he gave Matt Painter's wife a hug. He sat down for dinner and he looked Paint right in the eyes. You know what he asked him? Cardi asked him one simple question. It's a question you've probably heard plenty of times in your life, Cart. Paper or plastic? He asked paper or plastic because you know what BYU stands for, Carter? It doesn't stand for Brigham Young University. It stands for bag you up. That's what Kevin Young just did. He went straight
Ugh.
in to Matt Painter's home and he said, Canon Catchings, I'm about to bag you up. Igor Demon,
Ugh.
Brad Underwood, I'm about to bag you up because I'm Kevin Young. I got the pockets. They're deeper than yours. And BYU, they lost Mark Pope. Everybody loved Mark Pope. They lost Mark Pope and they started acting like a blue blood within a month. Kevin Young has my attention. He should have college basketball's attention. And this team itself going to be damn good because Igor Demon, Mawat Mag, Canon Catchings, all of the other young four-star talents that are on this roster, the returning veteran guards that they've got, this team's going to be good. I think this team's going to compete in the Big 12 as soon as next season.
Yeah, I need someone to immediately make me aware of what Kevin Young's middle name is. Otherwise, I will be assigning him one. But he needs to be addressed with a middle name at all times moving forward. And in the, I mean, what was it? I want to see if I can get the official hire date. On April 16th, 2024, Kevin Young was named the replacement. That man has hit the like if anything, if you're a BYU fan, you have to be ecstatic on how this dude is operating in this short amount of time, right? Like he has hit the ground running. He's acting the way he should be acting. He's approaching this the way that he should be approaching this. Um, I mean, the folks haven't been this excited to watch BYU for a long, long time. Outside of BYU fans, of course. Like, but I am genuinely, and I'm not just saying like put on a shtick here. I know we joke around a lot on this podcast. I'm genuinely excited to watch BYU this year. Like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
be tuned in.
No, massively. Like I think if we're making a list of teams that we are interested in, just intrigue level, like I think BYU is one of the 5 I'm most excited to watch for sure. And if we're doing like winners or losers here, I think like obvious loser to me would be Purdue. They wanted Canon Catchings, they don't get Canon Catchings. I think that does say something about the way Matt Painter goes about things, and Purdue fans won't like that. But like to me, you lost a player because Painter wouldn't compromise on whatever his belief system is, that you shouldn't make promises to players. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I am saying it cost you Canon Catchings. Like Matt Painter doubling down on doing things the Matt Painter way cost them Canon Catchings here, and that's okay. Matt Painter's been dominating the Big Ten. He just went to a national championship game. Clearly, Purdue's going to be fine, but if we're evaluating the winners and losers of this Canon Catchings recruitment, Matt Painter is a loser because he doubled down on his values and it cost him one of the most talented players that he's gotten. I think that we can talk about how big this is for BYU. We can talk about how big this is for Kevin Young. What I don't want to get swept away in this, I think this is a huge win for Canon Catchings himself. And again, Purdue fans probably not going to like this because I don't think BYU is going to necessarily win more games than Purdue will next season. I don't think BYU is necessarily going to have national championship aspirations next season in a way that, maybe you would hope Purdue could try to, coming off the heels of the Zach Edey team. But Canon Catchings is going to play. Like that's what Canon Catchings wanted here. The reports here were that Canon just wanted a guaranteed role that I am going to play. And oh, by the way, give me some money too. But I want to know what my role is. And Purdue couldn't promise or wouldn't promise him that. BYU will. Like he is going to play, and BYU is going to be pretty good. And Canon Catchings is now going to make more money than he was going to make at Purdue anyway. Like it's one of those ones where you can hate on the kid for doing it late in the cycle. You can hate on the way it went down, but you can't hate the kid for the decision because he just went from a situation that likely was going to bring him off the bench to a team that's probably going to start him. He might be the best or second best player on the team. There is talent around him. And oh, by the way, the check's cash out in Provo. Like, I think this is a massive come up for Canon, and I'm really happy for him. Even if it was a little frustrating to Purdue fans how it went down, this is a huge win for him and what he wanted.
Yeah, 100%. And I know you kind of alluded to this in maybe a different words or phrases, but if you're a Purdue fan and Canon Catchings is incredible one and done first round talent this year, what do you think the narrative is going to be around that?
From Purdue fans, or
Well, give me like from Purdue fans and then maybe what it should be if you think it's not correct.
I don't know that there could, like, if he actually is a one and done, I don't know that there can be a narrative, right? Like, I think Purdue fans would probably tell themselves this would have happened at Purdue anyway. That's what I would say if I'm a Purdue fan, but I think in reality, that's not true. Like, if Canon Catchings becomes a one and done at the end of the year for BYU, that is something Matt Painter has not done once in his career. Like, yes, maybe Canon Catchings could be the anomaly, but no, like he's going to approach this season like he's a one and done. He was never going to be allowed to approach the season like that at Purdue.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I guess that makes sense. I don't want the narrative to be like, oh, it wouldn't have worked out at Purdue. Like it wouldn't have, he wouldn't have done, or like acting like if Canon Catchings is great that they were like, ah, it's okay. No, like that. A one and done talent actually might really kind of help maximize the window that you have with like Braden Smith as your point guard. So
Yeah.
that I don't know. That's kind of where I'm coming from it.
Another win here, Mormons. In my opinion, this is the biggest win for the Mormon faith since farm boy Joseph Smith had a vision while reading the Epistle of James. He received the first vision back in the spring of 1820. I would say this is the biggest win for the Mormon faith since the spring of 1820.
Are we a Mormon pod?
I still got to figure out what the difference is between the Latter day Saints and the Mormons.
Yeah, we if anyone could slide into our DMs and awaken us, enlighten us, that'd be great. Also, I need some BYU gear.
Yeah.
Straight up. I
Yeah.
like I think me and you need to decide. Obviously given the context of our pigmentation. I'm guessing I'm grabbing the Canon Catchings jersey and you're getting the Igor jersey, but I'm willing to go the other way on that.
I would prefer the Canon one, and I feel like you're higher on Igor than I am. So,
Okay, yeah, bet that works for me. Let's make it
yeah,
happen.
you kind of look like an Igor in the face too, if we're
And
being
then and
honest.
that's crazy. And then we'll get Riley the Brady jersey.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah.
So also, can I get somebody on social media to put like a fire video edit together with my bag you up monologue over some highlights of Kevin? I really would like that. Like,
Yeah,
please,
yeah.
please get
Please.
that. Uh, how good is BYU actually?
Well, obviously in the Big 12, it's a gauntlet. Um, but I really think they're going to be good. Like I think that Igor and well, this is a lot of it. I think Igor's going to be great. I think Igor is going to be a top 15 pick. I think Canon Catchings is going to be a one and done. They have some other pieces. They got like a glue guy in Mawat Mag, who I think was a really underrated ad. They're able to get Elijah Crawford, a freshman coming in, who I think is talented. I think they got guys.
I love this roster so much, man. It's so fun. Who's better, BYU or Kentucky? I can't believe you're hesitating.
I mean, I'd take BYU on a neutral, so I think BYU is better.
I can't believe you're hesitating. I think BYU is way better. We may need to flesh this out more later this week, but like I like the roster so much more than I like Kentucky's. You just said Igor Devon's a top 15 pick. What do you think Canon Catchings is? Do you think he's a one and done?
Yeah.
Like I think they have 2 first round picks on the team. I don't think Kentucky has an NBA player on the team.
Rutgers has 2 first round picks on their team. Do you like their roster better than?
No, because they have holes everywhere else. Rutgers has 2 good players and giant holes everywhere. BYU has 2 studs and a good backcourt and other things.
Who's the better basketball coach, Kevin Young or Mark Pope?
I haven't seen Kevin Young coach a game yet. I got to know.
In 5 years, who's going to be the better basketball coach?
Kevin Young.
No doubt.
Who's going to win more NCAA tournament games in the next 5 years? Kentucky or BYU?
I mean, he's just got to win one, right?
Can I just get some actual honest bars from you off about like Mark Pope? Because people dead ass tried to tell us, Cart. Mark Pope did such a good job at BYU. Oh, nobody can bring talent to BYU. It's BYU. And then 2 months later, Kevin Young's doing it at a level that Mark Pope never, ever did. And Mark Pope, let's be real. If you would have showed us the day that Kentucky hired Mark Pope, if you showed us Mark Pope's roster now, what would your reaction have been the day they hired Mark Pope?
So say that again, sorry.
If you showed former you, past you, the night that Mark Pope got hired to Kentucky, we were sitting in Phoenix together. If you had flash forwarded to the future and taken a screenshot of the finalized Kentucky roster and showed that to you on the day that Mark Pope got hired, what would your reaction have been?
This is all he got?
Otega Owe? Like
he didn't get more than these guys?
Jackson Robinson? Okay. All right. I like Kobe Brea, but there's a lot of there. And we're talking ourselves into it because it's Kentucky. But the reality is Mark Pope has underwhelmed this offseason at Kentucky. And Kevin Young has come in guns a-blazing and set the entire town of Provo on fire.
Yeah, Mark Pope did fine. He did fine. He did fine. But the thing is, and because I always got to do this, it's like the guy who's like, he's dating this girl, right? and he's trying to get so much out of her. He's trying to like help her reach her full self, and he just gives up. And he's like, I can't get her to change. I can't make her change. I can't help her reach her potential. And he's just telling all his boys that he's like, I gotta go, boys. I gotta do it. And they're like, yeah, you're right. You can't do it. You've been there for a long time. You've been with her for a long time. You can't make it happen. Then the new boyfriend comes into the fold and immediately gets her trying the stuff that you couldn't get her to do, which makes you look dumb. And that's what the case is here, because he said, Mark Pope said, everyone told us. They were like, yeah, Mark Pope's a great coach. And we're like, well, how come he doesn't get better talent? Well, it's at BYU, so he can't do that. Kevin Young's been there since April, and all he's done is get the highest BYU recruit in history and got 2 first-round draft picks, and has AJ DeBanza shaking ass for Provo.
It's so crazy to say out loud, but it's so true. It's so true.
It,
Oh man,
dog, we're seeing On3 articles about top 10 recruits setting up their BYU officials after they get back from UConn.
you know the best part of this?
What?
The very best part of this. What's our MO, one of our favorite things since we were founded years ago has been, well, let the young bulls rock, right?
Let the young bulls rock,
We
right?
we thought that Duke was Team Young Bull this year. We were wrong. BYU is Team Young Bull. These like Canon Catchings makes this officially a Young Bull team.
It's just never been a better time to be an honorary Latter-day Saint.
Dog, because Canon Catchings didn't want to go to Purdue because he knew that Paint wouldn't let him rock. He knew he was going to be a young bull. Just put in shackles on the benches in West Lafayette, made to wait in line at Harry's chocolate shop with a fake ID. Instead, no, he said, I'm a young bull. I need to rock. I need someone who's going to let me rock. And Kevin Young seems like hashtag let the young bulls rock leader these days. I love it.
We got to get the BYU, man.
We have to get to BYU.
We got to get the BYU. Like, we have to.
I feel like I'd look great in royal blue.
You always struck me as a BYU guy.
I'm gonna let that one soak for a little bit. We'll be back in the future. I love this team. The NBA draft is coming up, and I've got something awesome for you. We are partnering with the people at NBA 2K Lab. NBA 2K is the best video game on earth. The people at 2K Lab are making some awesome stuff to make that game even more fun, and they just launched their 2024 NBA Draft Simulator, where you can find the official Sleepers Media big board. We ranked our top 75 players in this draft class. Me, Carter, Brian Ralph, Riley Davis. We did it together, and it is featured on the 2K Lab NBA Draft Simulator. You can take control of any team in the draft, play GM with just one click, and see our entire rankings before these videos even come out. Check out the link in the description of this video to try out the draft sim for yourself, and you can find more mini games at nba2klab.com/NBA-mini-games.